It was a fire with 120 potential victims and zero mercy.
Now I'm outside, our building is on fire.
Outside, people scrambled in search of loved ones.
He said, where are the patients located? That's what he want to know.
The fire had already burned for 45 minutes.
There was someone up there, there was someone in the windows over here.
And they could still see the eerie silhouettes of elderly patients trapped on the very top floor.
Somebody and the second to last one on the 4th floor, they were just looking out the window.
It's like the fire department can't get up there to get those people, but they've got everybody else.
There they stood, opening the window for any hint of fresh air, waiting and hoping for firefighters to make their way up, then slowly carry them down.
And you have to do it systematically because we don't want to miss anyone.
One by one, step by step, each patient guided to the ground, some in stretchers gently passed from firefighter to firefighter.
I don't have any names of anybody that's been transported.
All the while, friends and relatives gather in one location.
No, I haven't heard anything yet. We're just waiting. 2
hours into the fire, many still don't know if their loved one is safe, injured, or worse.
No, I'm just receiving some of their information to double check.
The fire department collects names, trying to account for every patient and comfort every family.
Well, do we need to go to the hospitals to find out if our family's there? My mom's on the 2nd floor.
Going to a hospital right now, to me, you would be better off to stay here for right now.
There is no easy way to cope with so much uncertainty, especially when the news only gets worse.
5 confirmed fatalities.
A terrifying number that would only grow larger with time. The sad conclusion to a merciless fire that unfairly attacked a helpless home.
We heard a loud squealing.
Just screeching and then screaming and crying.
And a loud crash, sounded like thunder.
It was bad. It was really bad.
2 mangled vehicles, a beat-up school bus come together in a twisted mess.
We really had to separate them as quickly as possible.
1 person was killed and rescue crews had to transport 19 others to area hospitals. Life Flight carried those who were most severe.
Of course, we had students all in the grass area on the hill. We even had them in the heavy brush over there laying around.
On the school bus were students from Kenwood High School in Clarksville. Brittany! According to police, they were headed home from a track meet.
It appears that the bus driver ran off the right side of the roadway into the median, the grassy area, overcorrected, sending the bus across the westbound lanes of traffic.
Directly in its path was this white van. The driver died on the scene. 5 other people riding in the other vehicle involved were taken to the hospital, along with 11 students.
Oh, the kids were just a wreck. There's one little girl in blue. She was just standing there. She's like, am I cut? Am I bleeding? I was just like, oh.
Those who saw it tried to help.
I
came running up, got into the bus, helped the coach get off the bus.
None of the students was seriously injured, but the emotional scars will take time to heal.
It was bad. It was really bad.
LaCheryl Tucker, News Channel 5.
After a 16-hour insertion, the 2nd Battalion Rakkasan spearheaded the 101st Airborne's entry into the war.
It's an honor to be able to be one of the guys to do that, especially when you're up here in front leading it.
Their objective, to seize and secure a strategic location deep inside Iraq. Major R.J. Lillibridge was here before as a 2nd lieutenant during the Gulf War.
Last time we did this, we had 5+ months to get ready, and this time we had less than 3 weeks. So it's a credit to everyone in the battalion that we're even able to pull this off tonight.
The first thing soldiers did, clear and secure the area and establish a defensive perimeter. Then they put up signs to warn away the locals.
It says, U.S. forces are in control of the area. Do not enter or you will be shot.
This location is a vital refueling point for the 101st Airborne's assault helicopters.
The arrival of the helicopters here at Camp Exxon signals the beginning of the Army's part in this air war against Iraq. This will allow the soldiers to take the fight up close and personal to the enemy. The Apaches, the attack helicopter for the Army has a lot of firepower. They can get in someplace, hit it, make a kill, and get out fast. The Black Hawk carries armed soldiers into conflict. It allows them to get on the ground, do close combat with the enemy, and then quickly get back to a safe camp again. This will be a huge part of America's war against Iraq over the next few days. For News Channel 5, I'm Dana Kay on assignment with the 101st.
It started with that sinking feeling.
It was pretty deep. Deep enough.
A crack at first, then bigger.
About 8 feet deep.
Until finally, this.
I can't believe how deep it is.
A pickup truck would have fit in it pretty easy.
In Clarksville, sinkholes come with the territory.
You couldn't have predicted this one.
They just usually don't take up this much of it.
That's pretty good, Brian.
We see probably 4 or 5 of them a month throughout the year. Just generally not in the middle of the road.
An entire section of 8th Street on the Austin Peay campus gone.
It's a pretty good hole.
The kids have been watching it all day today.
Right in front of a daycare.
Right on this street every day, every single day.
Frightening to parents.
My first thing was, oh my God, what if I had been driving and fell in or something?
But fascinating to their kids.
This look like the road too, Mama. What are they doing?
They're just digging it out.
Why?
That's just what they do to fix it.
I mean, she likes the big trucks and stuff, don't you? She doesn't talk much.
Hey, back him up in there. He's going to get on top of
Engineers blame the collapse on recent heavy rains. So heavy they crushed a sewer pipe and left a $20,000 hole in the street department's budget.
It's kind of part of doing business in Clarksville, though.
There is good news. This is the biggest sinkhole to open up all year. Bad news, there are 460 others.
Which is kind of scary, but...
And those are the ones the city knows about.
I mean, every little hole in the street, you're wondering, is it going to get bigger and bigger? You know, are we going to fall in it or something?
It's another day in the neighborhood.
There was only one way to get around in Una, Antioch.
Billy, I think we just ought to just go fishing today. We might go platinum here. Yeah, we're going to go platinum.
Frankie Hawk and Billy Joe couldn't believe the damage.
We got trees down. Look at the trailer park. It's underwater. Look out, Daddy. Baker, you know how to drive? It's my patio, man. I'll be dead going, Billy.
Mill Creek often floods, but rarely like this.
Like ain't no water out here? Look at that. I've never seen it up this far, and I've been living here over 20 years.
Dozens of homes were surrounded by water, and dozens of cars were flooded.
And I just had to walk my 2 young kids through a current that could have easily swept us away and killed us all.
Don't say there ain't no water in Antioch.
Frankie Hawks and Billy Joe stayed in their boat.
I ain't never seen it like this.
And saw several neighbors stranded in their homes.
They're back there trying to get people out.
But upstream, emergency crews rushed to another part of Mill Creek.
We was looking at the water, I was driving, and my friend was like, man, there's somebody hanging on the pole. We pulled over and called 911.
This man was stranded. No one was sure how he got there.
If he'd gotten out in that main current, he'd have been gone.
Crews took no chances.
He's in the boat.
They put a boat in the water and brought the man to shore.
Yeah, he's in there. He's probably tired, but he's in the boat.
Probably embarrassed, but...
Yeah.
It was a dangerous day on Mill Creek.
It's a little bit deep, Bo. Look at that. It's up to my waist. And I'm standing in the middle, I'm in the street.
Despite all the damage, the good news for people up and down the creek is that no one was hurt.
This ain't Percy Priest, this is Antioch.
This was a day a lot of people will remember.
Until
what?
Till 10.
The time is finally here.
There it is.
After flying missions in Kuwait and Iraq since March, another round of airmen with the 118th Airlift Wing finally returned home. This is the moment
He's right there.
Julie Krantz has been waiting for.
Oh, baby. Oh, gosh.
No matter where you turn, families were reuniting, greeted with welcome home signs, hugs, and kisses.
Everything to catch up on.
Yeah, missed birthdays and
Anniversary 2 days ago.
And so this
So
is
almost made the
a good
anniversary.
gift though.
As emotions fly high, the airmen cannot help but to remember those they left behind.
There's still a lot of folks over there, but that we need to think about. Being home's great, and I'm going to enjoy this for today.
The time they'll spend home won't be taken for granted.
Help us to
appreciate the spirit of today.
Prayers are offered for those who have returned safely and for those who are still there.
It's beyond words. How about that? There's too many emotions.
LaCheryl Tucker.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
News Channel 5.
Sleeping at night is not easy when you worried about somebody else, when they may not wake up. Hey, man, you see me?
To see your own child like this.
Hey.
And not even be able to hold him because the burns are so severe.
They put another tube in his nose.
It is the nightmare Jaquila Fitz has been living through for 2 weeks now.
Sometimes I can help, but sometimes just looking, I don't want to even look at it because he's going through too much.
Before the tubes, before the medicine, before the x-rays, young Marquitas Carey was a smiling soul.
Just happy all the time, never nothing that could have made him upset or cry.
But the third-degree burns that now cover his legs and back scarred more than his body. They singed something deeper.
Every time the nurses come in there, I notice now he put his hands over his face, like, when they gonna leave me alone?
Police believe the source of all this trauma is 19-year-old Michael Brandon Adams, boyfriend of the baby's aunt. Detectives say he was babysitting when he held the baby down in a kitchen sink filled with scalding hot water.
I want him to pay for what he did because my son is suffering.
Ever since, doctors and nurses have given Marquitas around-the-clock care.
He fought the other night so long.
But Mom is faced with a frightening possibility.
They don't know yet if he'll walk.
She knows the road to recovery is just beginning, and she is praying that the happy child she remembers will fight on and shine through.
It's not even about me. It's about my son. I'm doing it for him.
Circle up! Circle up!
Every December for 5 straight years.
Get everybody here in the back.
Assistant Metro Police Chief Judy Balkum becomes Santa Claus.
We've got a list.
Which isn't based on who's naughty or nice.
When you pull to this bay door, you will get 4 bushel baskets of food, which all look different.
Just who's needy.
Then you'll turn the corner, and then you'll pick up toys. They'll be loaded in your trunk.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Rows of baskets filled with food.
Oh, we have teddy bears, and we have Candyland, and bikes.
And boxes stuffed with toys.
Lots of teddy bears.
Just pull around the corner. They'll put the toys on the other dock and bring back the baskets empty.
All of it heading to families not expecting to have a very Merry Christmas.
Others ain't as fortunate as we are. And, you know that every once in a while somebody just needs a helping hand.
Howdy, right here.
At 6 in the morning, a line of patrol cars starts to form.
It was a little tough for her to get up this morning.
First to receive food, then toys.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
It's a big turnout. I'm not sure exactly how many officers are here.
Brian Hitchcox is one of about 200 officers volunteering their time for this.
What I get joyful out of is seeing people's faces when they get gifts and stuff.
The officers get an address.
So I got to turn right, and we're almost there.
And a brief description of the family's need.
Her 7-year-old daughter was in an accident, and the family has set up a trust fund to help pay the very high medical bills. The second grader has drifted in and out of a coma and only spoke her first words this week.
Hitchcox brought out a whole Christmas dinner.
Look right here, we've got fruit, milk, eggs, bread.
And he didn't forget Christmas for the kids.
I'm bringing a bag full of toys for 2 lucky kids. Here's your big thing of crayons.
For Marisa and her family, 2003 has been a tough year.
I said, well, there's been an accident.
She suffered brain damage after a pickup truck slammed into her school bus.
It's been really hard, but the community support has been amazing.
The Rowlands didn't have a lot of money after all the expensive doctor bills.
Haven't had a chance to do anything, and it's really, really a blessing.
But after this,
Where would it be?
their Christmas will be what all Christmases should be for children.
Where are you?
Right here.
Are you the cutest ever?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Thanks to some officers.
I'm going to take them out and put them on the couch for them.
Who put in extra work.
Well, that's what we do. We help people. It's Christmas.
Y'all have a Merry Christmas, okay?
Alex Cabrero, News Channel 5.
You're my mommy.
You're good. You're my Marisa.
It's been in there a long time. That's a picture of Pat and Frank when Frank was a junior and Pat was a senior. They have been competitive all their life. they wrestled when they were about 3 and 4 years old. People used to say, well, what do you do about them? I said, well, when the chandelier starts shaking, I go up and try to stop it. They were always wrestling.
Let's go! So here we are, about 35 years later, and we're still wrestling.
Frank is at MBA.
In, out, pull. There it is.
And Patrick's at Ryan.
Pull it, boom, right to your double. Take them all the way down.
Us two kind of fight over usually who's the two best teams in the city.
1, 2.
That's our biggest rival.
The other guy.
Because it's family versus family.
Are you buying 3 tickets or 4 tickets?
Last year at Father Ryan was almost standing room only.
Just here cheering and the gym shaking. Just a look around, the whole gym is packed.
Come on, man. You got to get some there. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Whoever wins gets to talk pretty big at the dinner tables at Easter, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. So
Hit it!
It's a year-long bragging right.
Keep him down! Go for the pin!
Once it's over, generally whoever loses is pretty upset. You know, you just kind of pat each other on the back and we kind of go to our own corners for a couple of days and cool off, and then after a day or two, I guess we come back and hug each other and we go on. It's life is normal.
Don't let a lot of the people kid you. This is not an easy job.
Jack Bracey has made a name for himself in his 21 years at the Old Hickory Post Office.
He's one of the best that we've ever had around here.
Co-workers call him faithful, dedicated. But out here, they call him something else.
Mailman Jack. Mailman Jack. That's all I know about it.
Everybody in the neighborhood knows him.
When Mailman Jack retires in April,
how you doing?
His route in the Langford Farm subdivision
Hi, sweetie.
will have taken him over 1 million miles.
Rain, snow, sleet, or hail. I forgot the rest of it.
Along the way, he's helped pay the postage for people like Jeff Rieger.
There you go. See you later.
And delivered hundreds of letters from Santa.
See you later.
He never told anyone he'd written them himself.
Yeah, you don't find them like him anymore.
If he'd wanted attention, he would have gone into show business, which he almost did, had dreams of becoming a musician. But life took him a different route. If only it was up to him where it led.
It's just that time.
Doctors just found out a brain tumor will likely rob Jack of eyesight, and possibly more.
I have good days and bad days, but mostly good days. So I'm fine.
That's good.
Now, he'd prefer no one knew.
We'll make sure you get them really tight.
In case neighbors made a big deal out of it.
Oops.
Well, that's exactly what they did.
That's good.
Friends put up not just 1, but 2 street signs in his honor.
How's it look, Mickey?
They threw him a party.
Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling great.
Where for the first time in 21 years,
We're gonna miss you.
Jack's route came to him.
Isn't this awesome? This is just unheard of for a mailman. I've never seen anything like this.
They even invited his relatives from Michigan.
I produced this thing.
That's his dad.
We love him, he loves us.
3 sisters, brother Bob,
What you see is what you got.
and Mom.
You did good.
Still proud
Thank you, Mom.
of her delivery.
Very good.
There's just not enough adjectives to describe how I feel right now. I think maybe it feels like I won an Oscar for portraying a mailman.
All this for a man who spent his entire career reaching out to others. On one day in Langford Farms, the others reached back.
This is a mailman's dream route. There's no doubt about it.
Barry Simmons, News Channel 5. At the Vanderbilt Medical Center, the rhythms of life can be overwhelming. With so much going on, there's seldom a moment to rest. It's why nurses on the 4th floor neonatal unit look forward to Wednesdays.
Daddy's here.
When a woman and her harp supply their own rhythm for an hour.
Well, it's comforting. I mean, just listening to it right now makes me feel better. I mean, it's just
Ashton Andrews calls this harp therapy. It's supposed to reduce stress.
Oh, so don't stop. Say I liked it.
It may even speed healing in infants. All she knows is it seems to work.
It puts them in a more restful state, and when they're resting, then they're able to heal and grow more quickly.
Just about any song will do. Awesome. Ask her nicely, and she'll even take requests.
I've usually asked her to play Lara's theme from Dr. Zhivago, some of the old songs. I don't know about rock and roll songs on harp. Do you play rock and roll songs on harp?
It started with Freebird, which then led to Stairway in Heaven. They're challenging me to learn Purple Haze.
Betty Ashton's been making the rounds here for 6 years, sponsored by Vanderbilt's Cultural Enrichment Program.
I feel it, the babies feel it, everybody around here feels it when she's here.
Bye, y'all.
She's toured just about every ward in the hospital and was playing in the surgery waiting room when a 21-year-old patient named Brett heard music down the hall.
We were walking around and he goes, "Where's that music coming from?"
Brett suffers from a rare blood disease that keeps him isolated from others. Medicine keeps him on Earth, but it's music
It sounded like angels.
that takes him higher.
Makes him feel peaceful. Makes him feel very peaceful.
Before he left, Betty Ashton brought over a CD,
Can this be my gift to you?
and Brett made a request of his own. For after all the time he spent in the hospital, Betty Ashton touched something even his doctors couldn't reach.
God's with him. I mean, every step of the way, the Lord's been with both of us.
Barry Simmons, News Channel 5.
The building is unique, yeah.
I think the building's about 100 years old.
With the brick walls that they've retained here, just the quaintness of the whole building itself. And the elevator is part of it.
Because people get off the elevator and always comment how quaint it is.
Something kind of weird about it.
Now it's going back up. I don't know where it's going.
It tends to kind of go up and down by itself.
It'll just kind of roam around.
Where to now? We're on 4 drug. Oh, we were on 3.
Sometimes it appears to have a mind of its own.
I just went to 4 and I didn't even hear it take off, did you?
It's kind of the focal point of our reception area, and it'll be funny to watch them look over and see that nobody's getting off.
Now it's back to 2. And there's nobody there.
And that kind of opens me up to tell them the story about the ghost.
Haunted, it could be.
It's got the little seat, and we're just not quite sure who rides it. There you go.
We can watch the old dial spin, and we know that somebody's going to be getting off the elevator.
You get on, you'll hit whatever floor you want to go to, and then it'll just go straight to the basement. No, not stopping. It'll go a lot faster than it normally does. We'll call the elevator people, and it won't do it again. The basement's kind of creepy.
Yes, very creepy.
Have you been down there yet? When it dropped Faye in the basement and left her down there for a couple of hours.
I might take the fire escapes out.
It's just one of the characteristics of this cool building.
Farming's hard work. What makes this hay so good is it's real weedy. And goats like the real weedy hay. This hay's good for goats. Most of my goats are just purely meat goats. Yeah, come here, Stella. I know you're going to be jealous. They're not afraid of people. You can walk right up on him, except for the noise. You have to be real quiet. Well, they do faint. He finally decided it was time. He's still stiff down there. Look at his legs. Goats are a lot of fun. This is a condition called myotonia. When they fall out, they're not fainting. their muscles get stiff throughout. It doesn't hurt them at all. See if I can get some of these fellas outside. Right now we have about 40 to 50 fainters. Come on, girls. My wife is owner and operator, but she's the general caretaker of all the goats. They'll fall out trying to eat their corn. Come on, goat. Come on. Up. She went down. She started running and went down. Sometimes if you just walk around the corner and look down at them, they'll look up at you and they're startled and they'll fall out. I don't think it's because I'm that ugly, but maybe it is. Here you go. And if they're at all off balance, they'll fall down. One of my favorite stories on these goats, back in '95, we had some folks from California got in touch with us that they could actually do a commercial. And the goats fell out for them. Ah! Goats are so different. They each have their own personality. We fell in love with our fainters, but they give you a lot of love back.
It's a huge project.
It's gonna happen.
We had a lot of people come and unload the trucks and made record time. In 3.5 hours, both semis were unloaded.
Hey, who did it?
I got to unwrap everything and see it was like a present.
Yeah, it's incredible. Right now, we're in the process of having a new pipe organ built and installed.
The pipes are going to go on either side of the wheel window and sort of outline the shape of it.
Oh, it's been built over the last 18 months by the Lively and Fulcher Organ Company. Everything's put together in their shop, and then they disassemble it and bring it here. And actually, before the semis were even unloaded, the organ builders were up there laying out the footprint of the organ.
He's 45.
Hold it.
Steady, steady. Yeah, these are mostly solid oak and a couple of 100 pounds apiece.
Put your hands now. Wait, hold it. Gently.
We're putting these right into a position where they're going to live for the rest of their lives.
It's in.
And then we'll move on to all the structural parts that go around them.
This instrument will have the capability of not only playing hymns and organ literature, organ music for church, but also organ literature from the 16th, 17th century on up through the current time. We definitely plan on having organ recitals and choral recitals and things like that, and drawing people into the cathedral by means of this new instrument.
This is D sharp.
E?
C, C sharp, D, D sharp. The next one I'm looking for would be E. Yep, that's it.
Right now we're in the stages of installing all the pipe work.
C sharp, A.
F, G, A, B, C sharp, and then it repeats as it goes to the top. Organ building is a great deal of different crafts all rolled into one.
Top octave, C49 in other words.
And the top octave sounds like it's pulling.
Next.
They'll work with each individual stop and then each individual pipe to make sure within the rank itself it's speaking correctly, and how it's balanced to the room, and then how it's balanced from one stop to another.
That's good. I think we're where we need to be.
The reaction's been phenomenal. It's been, we've waited for a very long time for this, so people are very excited about it. People that aren't familiar with organ and things like that are talking about how that sound just surrounds them and envelops them and makes them want to sing. From the very softest little flutes to the loudest trumpets and the most blazing reeds. Emotion can be gotten out of an instrument like this very easily. The idea is to incite the congregation to sing, to incite them to sing, and to excite them. We hope it's here for 150, 200 years. This is a gift we give to our parishioners, to their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and to the city of Nashville.